Apple announced a new M1 iPad Air 5 at the latest event, and it is good, but the question is it great? So let's talk about what I liked, what I'm a little confused about, and where I think there are some opportunities for improvement. The starting price for the iPad Air 5 is $599, so it's just like with the iPad Air 4. What's great here is that you're getting a more advanced tablet for the same price as the previous model. This is something that we've seen Apple do before, so it's what I was expecting with the iPad Air 5. I will say that it's impressive to be able to get the M1 chip at that price point, but I'm wondering if that was the best place to spend money, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So the size and the shape are identical to what we have with the iPad Air 4. It's the exact same body, the same dimensions, same 10.9-inch Liquid Retina display, and my guess is that Apple was able to keep the cost down by repurposing the current design. Now they did hype up the new colors, which look awesome. We've got space gray, pink, purple, starlight, and blue, and I'm a little torn between the purple and the blue, so let me know in the comment section which one you'd like to see on this channel. I regret not getting the purple with the iPad Mini 6. I got the starlight, which does look really clean, but the purple just looked awesome. And then at the same time, that blue just looks ridiculous in a good way. So I don't know, let me know what you think. Regardless of which color I end up going with, I hope that the colors this year are a little bit more vibrant than what we got with the iPad Air 4. And it's super hard to tell when you watch the event because so much of what we see are renders, so they can play with the colors. I just hope the colors are a little more saturated this time around. The display itself, like I said, is also the same Liquid Retina display that we got in the previous model. Got 2360 by 1640 resolution, same 500 nits of brightness, and the same 264 pixels per inch. I was hoping for something new here, maybe a slightly larger display with smaller bezels in the same form factor. I know they can't give us ProMotion from the iPad Pro, and they're already upgrading us to the M1 chip, but I think that most users would probably rather have an upgrade in the display rather than processing power. Now this isn't true for everyone, but the majority of users already don't max out the processing power on their tablet. So while it's amazing that you can get an M1 chip for $599, I would have considered spending this budget in a few other ways, for example, storage. The iPad Air 5 is available with 64 or 256 gigabytes of internal storage, and both come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's 2022 and this tablet should easily last you 7 to 8 years, if not even more than that. So I would have liked for Apple to start with 128 gigs and then offer a 512 gig model. I'm fine with the 8 gigabytes of RAM because, again, for most users, RAM is not a real bottleneck, and those who do need more can go with the iPad Pro. We're also still getting a USB-C connector with the iPad Air 5, but it's not the same as what we have on the iPad Air 4. It actually offers 2 times faster transfer speeds. And of course, it's also compatible with external SSD editing for LumaFusion. And like I said before, people who need more than that, if you need faster transfer speeds than even the iPad Air 5 is going to offer, then go ahead and upgrade to the iPad Pro. One quick note here, Apple, if you're watching, please, pretty please, in iPadOS, can we please get a progress bar when we're transferring files? Like right now, you're just sitting there, you don't know if you're at 5% or 95%. So little progress bar would be great. Back to the iPad Air 5, biometric authentication will continue to be integrated into the power button, just like it is with the iPad Air 4, and I think it's in a great spot. I always program fingers from both hands, and it's been extremely accurate and reliable for me. Now, it would have been cool to get Face ID. I say this with every new iPad that comes out, but I guess that remains a feature that's unique to the iPad Pro. Now, the camera and speaker systems are another area where we saw some improvement and then some carryover from the iPad Air 4. The rear-facing camera remains a 12-megapixel f1.8 camera, and all the specs are the same with the exception of extended dynamic range for video up to 30 frames per second. Where we do see a significant upgrade is with the front-facing camera, which is upgraded from 7 megapixels to the same 12-megapixel ultra-wide that we see on all the other iPads. This also brings center stage to the iPad Air 4, which new users are absolutely going to love. You've probably seen this by now, but basically it means that the camera is tracking a subject as it moves around the frame and then zooms in and out to keep them properly framed. This is a great feature if you're on video calls where you're moving around because it doesn't only keep you in the frame, but it also adds a dynamic feel to the video. So instead of just using the ultra wide view, which they could have, and then you walk around and you would still be in the frame, but you'd be like small small in the corner or on the side. This way it actually looks like there's a camera person there that's zooming in and out and panning or tilting to keep you in the frame. Now moving on to the speaker system, that's another area where I was hoping to see a little bit of an improvement, but we're seeing the same 2-speaker system that we had on the iPad Air 4. Now this isn't a bad audio system by any stretch, but with competitors like Samsung offering quad speaker systems in tablets like the Tab S8, it would have been nice to have 4. And when we look at accessories, we don't really see any updates. So we still have compatibility with the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, which pairs and charges on the side of the iPad. Now, in general, I really like using this Apple Pencil, and if you're looking for some tips and tricks about how to use it, check out this video right here. As far as keyboards, since we don't have an update to the design, it's still compatible with the smaller Magic Keyboard and a host of options from other providers like Logitech and ESR. Now, one other major update to the iPad Air 5 is that it now offers a 5G option, which is going to be an upgrade over the previous model, and it will provide faster connectivity for users who have that service available where they live. Now, of course, it means that you'll have to get a dedicated data plan for your iPad, but if you travel a lot and you don't like connecting to public Wi-Fi or you don't like tethering off your phone, this could be a major advantage. So now let's talk about the move from the A14 Bionic chip to the M1 chip. So clearly the M1 chip is an unbelievably powerful chip, and it's the same chip that we saw in the 13-inch MacBook Air, which is one of my favorite laptops on the market right now. I think it's very hard to beat the combination that you get on that laptop when it comes to performance and efficiency. So we're getting the 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU version. It's the same one that we have on the iPad Pro, and the only difference looks to be the RAM. On the iPad Pro, if you upgrade to the 1 or 2 terabyte models, you get 16 gigabytes of RAM instead of 8. The iPad Air 5 is only available with 64 and 256 gigabytes, so we're always getting 8 gigs of RAM. That's another differentiator between the two and might be a reason why more demanding users will still choose to go with the iPad Pro. And I'm actually super curious to see what the iPad Air 5 does to sales of the 11-inch iPad Pro, because users who were on the fence when it came to processing power now have less of a reason to upgrade. And it's not that they don't have any reasons, it's just that the gap continues to shrink. At the same time, I keep coming back to the whole storage thing because this really would have been a perfect opportunity to go to 128 and 512. The M1 chip is so capable, and they keep talking about all these powerful apps and games that you can play. Well, guess what? Those apps and games are going to take up a big chunk of your storage. Not to mention, if you're a creator and you want to edit on this device, it's just difficult for me to recommend 64 gigabytes for anyone who's going to use this iPad for anything other than like streaming content, social media, and web browsing. And it's not because you're necessarily going to run out of space immediately, but Apple has excellent long-term support, and we've got the incredible performance of the M1 chip, so you're going to be able to use this tablet for years. And at the same time, the app and game developers are absolutely going to take advantage of this additional processing power and then push the envelope. And that usually means using up more storage. I also hope that we get a big update with iPadOS this year when it comes to external display support. It's nice that this new port can support external displays with up to 6K resolution, but unless we get rid of the black bars and we can move beyond just mirroring the display that's on the iPad, it's not as useful a feature as it could be. If you compare it to something like Samsung DeX, you could really see what's possible. I don't think we'll see macOS apps on an iPad because, again, desktop apps just aren't really designed for touch, but I do think that continuing to expand multitasking functionality and offering something like a dual display setup with an external display, that is something that would be valuable. If you're thinking of getting the iPad Air 4, you should definitely wait for the iPad Air 5. You'll be getting a more powerful iPad with all the benefits of the iPad Air 4, but with a more capable chip, more RAM, better front-facing camera with center stage, faster transfer speeds, and a 5G option. I'll have the iPad Air 5 in studio very soon. I'm super excited to start playing around with it and then share my experience with you. If you have any questions that you want me to include in my detailed review or my comparisons, let me know in the comments section. Now you should watch this comparison with the Tab S8. Hopefully this video was helpful. Click on my face to subscribe. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.